Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
You know, we keep dragging people in here. Security's going to come and lock us out of our table, Glenn.
I know, it's awesome.
I love it,
great? Though. I love it, though. Table for 14.
Table, yeah, right, exactly. Pretty close. Table for 4 anyway. Hey, Jackie.
Hi.
Hey, Jackie.
How are you guys? Thank you.
Look who joined us back in the coffee shop for the third week in a row, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, can't get rid of me. Can't get rid of me.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, this is great. We were just bantering back and forth, and we were chuckling about a bunch of stuff, but it's just good, you know. It's Saturday morning here in all transparency, as Glenn loves to say. We do these things at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going on our 5th year. Never missed a drop.
That's crazy, man. Never missed. I mean, just never missed.
We've missed a topic, but we've never missed a drop. I mean, a good episode or a bad episode, we've dropped them anyway.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is incredible.
It really is.
And Jackie's a repeat offender.
I am.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Jackie,
having me back.
Third time is the
awesome.
charm. And I didn't realize that Tom had not been on Sober.Coffee, so you can't find previous episodes, but we do have a sister podcast that we did, 35 episodes or something like that of one called God As We Understand Him.
Yep.
Can be found at GodAsWeUnderstandHim.coffee, right?
Just trying to figure out the whole God thing.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So, but anyway, Jackie's joining us today. Last time you left here, Jackie, we said, oh, man, we didn't have enough time because these are only half-hour segments. But I thought it'd be interesting to get you back in the coffee shop and talk a little bit about a topic that is kind of dear to your heart, which is, and I think a lot of our listeners, and it's tough to gauge who's really listening, you know, besides my mom. I know my mom is, but I think there's a lot of people kind of new to the program, some that have a little longevity, some of them just sober curious, right?
And Bangladesh.
And we're big in Bangladesh. Anyway, I think we got 2 listeners there. But anyway, dating.
Yeah.
What
a great topic.
It's a great topic. I'm not a free agent. I've signed a contract
I see that.
4 years ago. 44 years ago, I signed a contract, and believe it or not, I'm still holding to my end of it. So
yeah. I mean, I'll start with the disclaimer. I mean, I'm no dating expert here, right? I mean, I've had my own ups and downs, but you know, I came to you with the topic. I think it was fresh off a therapy session. I've had the same therapist for 5 years now. So
aren't they great? Don't we encourage therapy?
We've talked about this before.
And the big book does.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
If you can get a therapist while you're working the program, and
absolutely.
I'm blessed enough that my therapist is in the program.
Oh, really?
So
that's nice.
I get a big bang for my buck there.
Right.
But you know, it's come up over the years, and she's instilled a lot of great pearls of wisdom, I think, when it comes to the topic of dating. I think I saw you the next morning after I had a therapy session with her, and she brought it up, and she was like, you should bring up to the podcast guys to do an episode on dating.
Right.
And I know I was so excited that morning, and I didn't think you were going to turn around and ask me to sit and talk about it, because I'm like, I'm
awesome.
Single. What the hell do I know about dating? But thanks for having me here, and I think it's an interesting topic of whether you're 30 days in or 30 years in, depending on where you are in the spectrum of life and in your program. It's a challenging ocean, I'll say, to navigate. I think, to say the least.
Right. No, I think it's great, and I think I look at the rooms of AA, and I think that I don't know. I haven't done the statistical analysis, but I think we're probably maybe even 50-50 on single, married. How does that feel to you? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think over the past 2 years, we've seen a kind of a new cycle.
Yeah.
It seems a lot more, younger women and women in general, and men. Because when I first came in, it seemed to be mostly
old gruff guys like me and Glenn, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, me too, right?
So how do you kind of navigate this ocean? I mean, how do you, and as it relates to your sobriety, how I'm certain you have to prioritize sobriety over everything, but how do you kind of navigate that? I had one of my sponsees went out for a date the other night, and I said, well, how'd it go? And he said, oh, it went really, really good. And he said, I said, well, did you tell her your story? He goes, yeah. As soon as she ordered a wine, I just spewed it out. So he said, awesome. I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off. Right. Let's not. If she wanted to get up and leave, she'd get up and leave. And I said to him, I said, if anybody's in the know about anybody who's been with AA, it's an asset, not a liability. Come on, man. Right. Being in the program is an asset to society and to a relationship. So.
And I think you bring up a really interesting point. I was thinking about this last night when I was like, okay, what am I going to say? First and foremost, probably a little taboo to some people. My therapist always instilled in me, do not date in your first year of sobriety.
I've heard that.
I know it's very common. And I will tell you, when I talk to my sponsor about it, she has a very different view.
Oh.
Which is totally fine.
Does she say, wait, 10 years?
No, she's like, go and spread your wild oats, and
okay.
The more people, the better, right?
Okay.
And I respect her opinion on that, of course, 100%. Yes. But I default. I felt like that giving yourself that year is really important. Sense. And I'm about to be 3 years sober, and I still haven't really ventured into the whole dating thing. Because I think during this whole journey of mine, I really believe you got to really truly love yourself and lock down yourself first.
That's the year.
Yeah. Before you can give any part of yourself to any other human being. Mm-hmm. And now I've had competing priorities. I've had my son in that time, a lot of different life changes. I also wanted to get my shit together before you go out there and introduce another human. And to your point about your sponsee, what does that look like in society? Right. Ripping the Band-Aid off, telling your story to someone who isn't one of us versus dating someone who is in the program.
Right. Oh, there we go. Right.
And that's where my therapist and I have really kind of uncovered this topic a lot it's a lot about trauma bonding. Yeah. It's very easy to feel 100% comfortable and have some of that anxiety around being vulnerable if you're going to date someone in the program. Because you think, okay, they're sitting in the rooms with me. They hear all of my stuff, my dark secrets, all the horrible shit that I've done over the years. And it automatically makes you feel comfortable. Right. But you really don't know who that person is. Right. Are they a good person? Just because you're in the program doesn't mean you're a good person.
That's right.
So you still have to uncover all of those other nuances of somebody. So I think you have to look at both sides of the coin, whether you're going to date in the program, date outside of the program, and what does that look like. But I'm a firm believer in, keeping that, at least that first year, to yourself.
I couldn't agree more. I just couldn't agree more. I was blessed with an opportunity to focus on my recovery my first 12 months. And we talked last week a little bit about spirituality. It's amazing how that unfolded in front of me that I was able to do that. And I'm so glad I took advantage of it. I think you're so right. That first year is so important.
So you're bringing up dating someone new, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been married for 35 years.
I hope you say what I think you're going to say.
I've been married for 35 years, and I've been changing so much. I felt like me and my wife started dating again.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
As I changed, she was changing. So we had to kind of redate each other again and get to know each other because, there have been patterns built up over that period of time. And I mean, that's a kind of a new beginning, a new person, where I was a new. So it's just kind of interesting. I mean, the concept of dating isn't just for strangers, right? In recovery.
Or at least it shouldn't be.
Right.
So I will definitely go in with the 1 year, co-sign that. I don't think you can present yourself and be part of. I mean, I've got a guy right now. He's got D game, right? He's trying to date this girl, and he's complaining about her D game. And I'm like, you guys have 2 D games. I'm like, why don't you just take a pause, for 6 months or a year,
figure it out,
and get your act together. Right. So you're a B player or you're an A player. And I mean, you're sitting there in this relationship and you're wondering why it's not working out. I'm like, because you both are playing with D games, but you want A level from the other person, but you're willing to put in your D game. So I totally believe that. As soon as I say that, September 2014, I went into my 4-month program, and I'm 2 months into it, and I'm bored as can be. So I go to my temporary sponsor. I'm living in sober living. That's attractive. And so I go to my temporary sponsor. I'm like, hey, I've got this extra time. What do you think about me going on Match.com, right? And he goes, well, let's talk through it, right? Which is how it works, right? You get some outside counsel. And he says, look, I'm okay with it as long as you put you're a non-drinker in your profile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I went to do that, like my hand was shaking.
Right.
Because I would always put I was a social drinker.
Well, me too. I told my doctor I was.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking a handle a day,
Yeah,
right?
right.
On this first date, right? I have 9 drinks before the date, and I would drink 1 or 2 during the date, and I drink 9 after the date.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But and so many times I relapsed because I just couldn't handle the pressure.
Right.
And so finally I went on Match.com, and I said, I'm a non-drinker, and I ended up marrying her, right? So it worked, but I think it's one of those rarities.
For like what, 4 days? Or is this Jen?
There's Jen.
Oh, I thought it was just like you met somebody, married him for 4 days, and I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. That's where my brain went.
And the funny thing is when you're talking about your sponsee coming out and tell her. So the first night, she had a glass of wine, and I was drinking sparkling water, and nothing was brought up. And she goes, well, tell me where you're living. Tell me about. I said, well, I live in a condo here. I said, I'm living with some guys. I said, I just got out of a relationship, so I'm transitioning
with alcohol
to Geneva, right? And so, okay. Well, tell me about it. Well, it's a really cool condo. It's right here on, it's a cool part of town, great condo, right? Got through that second night. Hey, so tell me about this place you live in, right? And tell me about these guys. And I'm like, well, I said transitional. I said, I'm staying with the guys. I said, I'm probably going to live there a couple months, and right? And then I could tell the third date, she's like, hey, I'd like to come by and see your place.
Yeah. She wanted to know more.
Exactly. Jackie knew. She wanted to know, are you married?
Right.
Right?
She thought you were hiding something there.
Sure. She's like, and I was hiding something.
Well, you were, yeah.
So on my third date, I'm like, look, everything I told you is true, but there's more to the story. So I'm like, hey, I said I live in a condo with some sober guys. It's sober living. I said I'm on the sober path. That's why you see me not drinking.
Honesty, huh?
I'm really committed. So she goes, she says, okay. She goes, I'll be right back. So she leaves with this is like December. It's cold. She leaves her coat in the booth and goes to the bathroom. And it's like 45 minutes later, I'm like, she ditched me.
Wow.
Like, I can't believe
45?
45 minutes, she ditched me. And so she comes back and she's crying. I can tell she's been crying. And she's like, man, sorry. She really blew me away with this. And she says, I just really like you. And she said, you caught me off guard. And she goes, my marriage broke up because of alcoholism.
Wow.
And she goes, I just can't. I'm just going to go. And I'm like, okay. So a week later, we were downtown at the State Street Tavern sharing a bucket of chicken and waffles for brunch. And I looked at her and I said, and we had some good chats, throughout that week. And I said, Jen, I got to ask you. I'm like, why would you be sitting at a table having brunch with an alcoholic if your life was decimated by alcoholism? And she looked at me, didn't miss a beat. She goes, oh, that's easy. She goes, you don't drink. And she goes, you're doing a lot and you're committed to not drinking. Wow. She goes, you know what? I would love to be able to have a chance to have a relationship with somebody that doesn't drink.
Wow.
She goes, I've never had that. She goes, I think it's amazing. Let's go.
Wow.
She saw potential.
And here we are. I mean, and I was just telling this guy last night, I'm like, she bet on me when I was a horse on the racetrack with three broken legs.
You were an ass.
With 3 broken legs.
Right.
I'm like, what did you see in me? She goes, you know what? She goes, I didn't care about your money because I make my own money. She goes, all I knew is that you were nice, you showed up, you were nice to my kids, you were fun to be around, and you were really trying to just be a better person. And she said, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Well, right.
Amazing, yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. So, dating within the rooms or dating without the rooms? Any advice from a non-advice giver?
I don't have any advice on that.
Because you don't know what's going to unfold in front of you.
Well, and I'm also a firm believer I'm not going to give advice for something that I haven't experienced yet myself. So I'll put that caveat out there.
Do you date now?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have time. I have a 2-year-old.
No.
And I guess
who's in control over there,
right?
Jackie? Who's in control?
He is for sure. And I think that's kind of where some of these chats with my therapist come up. Is she's trying to like also push me to you have to have a life of your own, right? I can't make my life just about my kid. Sobriety is number one, right? Like you have to be sober in order to have our lives at all. But like that can't be everything, like. And I'm a type of person that tends to put things in boxes in my life, and like that's just one box. And it's baggage from my past relationships and things that I'm still working through there as well. But I've just put that box up on the shelf, and I'm like, oh well, just leave it up there. I don't really care. And As a human being, she wants me to have, and see a full life for myself as well. So that's kind of where we're working through some trauma stuff, and that's how this conversation continues to come up. I think it's whatever is going to work for you. Only you in your heart of hearts is going to know what feels right. Whether it's in the room, hey, you see somebody in the room, you have stuff in common, you're attracted to one another, you feel like maybe you're both in a good place in your life where you kind of want to maybe take a step or two down that road. Awesome. More power to you. I mean, I encourage that, because to your story, Glenn, that level of vulnerability that you had with your wife at that moment, that takes a lot of guts. Again, we all think we're vulnerable in the room sitting there telling our story, but it's different when you're one-on-one and like
and there's something on the line.
Good point.
Right.
Yeah, because you could have been manipulative if you wanted to.
Oh,
you're good. You were
that's
good at
why,
that in your old life.
But you know what? I had a couple months in. I said, you know what? I'm going to play these cards differently. I'm going to play them real.
Right.
And not only was it there, but I've been in business situations where it's very vulnerable. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dance with the girl that I brought to the dance, and that's her name's Sobriety. And I've told some big investors my sober story with the chance that they may walk.
Right.
And it's so far, everyone has leaned in even closer, right? Yeah. And it's worked out. But my temporary sponsor at the time really coached me. And he goes, look, you're a sober dude. You need to act like a sober dude. And it worked out, right?
Right.
Wow, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these experiences you're talking about, they just inspire like us to be honest and continue to be forthright with people that we're engaged with,
But I love what you said too. But when you get sober and you change, even if you're with somebody, it's still. I remember this wife of this guy I was working with. Like she kept calling me. She goes, he has gotten sober. He used to have D level game,
right,
and now he's got A+ level game. Right. And she goes, I'm not good enough. She goes, because as he slid from A, B, C down to D, my game lowered.
Right.
And she goes, he is so much stronger in sobriety. She goes, I will never get up to his level. She goes, I will not be good enough for him. And I'm like, no, that's really not how this works. Right. But it ended up working that way, for them. And she just didn't. She was resentful that she had to now work at her game, right? So it just didn't work out. But no, I love what you said. And so difference. I mean, we did an episode on the 13th step.
Really good.
I'm really, I'm really cautious of that in the rooms. So I don't know how to navigate that. And I'm glad I don't have to.
Right.
I think, and we've kind of touched on this, I think, on another episode that we did together. And I'll give a female perspective. Again, it kind of goes back to what I brought up earlier about trauma bonding. If you're not comfortable where you are in your sobriety and who you are as a female, I've seen it happen where women will latch on to somebody typically in the program for that sense of comfort, for that sense of feeling whole, for that sense of acceptance. Acceptance. This guy gets me, and we're going to do this sober thing together. If it works, again, great, more power to you. But 9 times out of 10, in my experience, I've seen it absolutely fall apart because, again, you don't really know who that other person is. You don't know that other person's motives to begin with, to the point of the 13th step. Are you just after, some tail?
Right.
Like, what is the situation there? Maybe the guy wants to feel that same sense of comfort,
Sure.
et cetera. But I think that, you got to be that's where you need to be careful that you're not taken advantage of, because you got to, not only do you got to check your own motives. I'm sorry, we're not supposed to take other people's inventory. And I'm not saying that, but like, you got to be leery of other people's motives too.
Right,
and
sure.
just see, like,
Always.
Is this something legit? Is this something genuine? Or
Right.
is the person out for something else? And I shouldn't say it's,
Right.
It's male to
It's
female, and male to,
Right.
exactly.
Right. So what do you tell the listener, male or female? What do you tell them? What are kind of your key walkaways about dating? And I think one of them was we kind of agreed as 1 year or however long it takes to heal yourself, to do significant healing in yourself. I think is a grand.
I would agree. And I mean, again, like I said, for myself, I'm almost 3 years in. I personally don't feel I'm 100% healed. I don't think anyone really could ever be.
Exactly.
But I'm at a point where I'm willing to dip my toe in the pond when I feel like it's right. I've been very cautious, very critical, I'll even say to a certain extent, of people that I've surrounded myself with, and maybe even contemplated, hey, do I want to maybe talk to this person in a different format than just being a friend or a friend of the program, in that aspect. Definitely talk to your sponsor, talk to your therapist if you have one, talk and bounce it off, friends in the program and not in the program, because you'll find you're going to have varying different viewpoints there, right? But I think it's important to hear it all. And I think the biggest and most important one is to pray on it. Similar to what the conversation you guys were having earlier, is, God's will. He's going to show you the way, whether you want to see it or not. You may not see it, and pay attention to those signs, because he's not going to steer you down a path that's going to be, damaging to you and to where you're at in your life. At least hope not. And if it does go down that road, it's going to be for a lesson.
Right. So one of my favorite things, I'm on social media a lot for sobriety, and one of my favorite things is like the whole rehab relationships,
Yep.
where two people I hate to say this, but two people are in the sick pond, right? And you're fishing in the sick pond, and they connect in rehab, and they're in love, and they're going to figure out this whole thing together, and they're going to live a great life together, and that lasts about 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So, Jackie, how do you know when you're ready to date, or is that a trial and error thing, or?
I think it's going to be different for every person. I think, it could be trial and error. I've known some, again, from a female perspective, I've known some female friends in the program that have given a trial and error right from the go. And if, they're comfortable with that and that's what they want to do for their life, I'm no place to judge. I don't see that for me. I think that, again, just being brutally honest with yourself, with your sponsor, if you have a therapist, of just examining your life. Like, do I have all my ducks in a row and where I feel comfortable going out and giving my part of myself to another person? I can't tell you like when you're going to be ready. That's a constant, I think, evaluation and self-awareness piece that is crucial to your program if you're going to go out and start dating somebody else. Again, that's just my opinion on it.
So question, does your dating prospect need to be sober?
Yes. I went down that road. I went down that road once before and did not end well. So we talked about the trial and error. I tried it, did not work. So that is a non-negotiable for me at this point.
Agree.
So Jen drinks once a month, if that. But I could not live with a regular drinker. No way.
It's just too much. Just too much, in my opinion.
I think we all come to a point where, you have no desire to drink, right? But we all know the chaos that comes with the drinking.
Oh.
Right.
And that is 100% out of our control and out of that person's control that's engaging in the drinking. We got into this to get rid of the chaos.
And I have less
wise.
tolerance each day, and it's terrible. I never wanted to be the non-smoker who preached about smoke, and I don't preach drinking, but I'm like, oh, dude, you're so out of control. What are you doing? What are you doing? I feel so sad for you. This is not going to be sexy in the morning. This is not
So
gonna
funny
be
though.
fun in the
I am
morning."
so aware today about how still, 10 plus years. I was at this concert last night, and I was amazed at how empty the bar was.
Right.
Like nobody was drinking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like,
good. You pick your venue. You
I'm
pick
like-
your genre.
I'm like, how do you go
Right,
to a
right.
concert
How
and
do
not
you
drink,
do it?
right? All right, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Do you believe in quote unquote God's will?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you believe that things happen for a reason?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's by chance we're sitting here today and having a conversation about sober dating?
No.
Okay. Because I have a network of great people, and it's just so coincidental that I have a really cool dude who is just wanting to get in the dating scene himself. And so I'm just
You're gonna hook him up with Tommie?
Yeah.
Totally. Tommy, what
I'm
do you think?
taken.
Tommy's taken.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I in my life, I've built amazing networks. A lot of it's business, and I've not really done this.
Cupid.
The Cupid
Yeah, right.
connections. But this guy is a really cool dude, and he's got really quality sobriety. His heart's in the right place. His head's in the right place. He has several years of sobriety, and just a really cool dude. That's all.
right,
I'm just
quick-
going to put it out there.
Quick disclaimer: Sober.Coffee does not in any way encourage you.
Match game
Please,
25.
if you take this medicine, you should be aware of certain side effects, including arms falling off, and
You're going to die.
you're gonna die.
I'm just saying it's crazy how this stuff works.
It is crazy.
I did not know I was coming on the podcast to get set up
I-
this morning.
You know what? I didn't know it either.
Sober.match.com.
Brian,
Right?
Brian, let's dial him in. No, I'm just
Oh,
going.
God.
Jackie, I'm totally
Guys, we
kidding.
gotta run. I love this. This
I'm
was
totally
great.
kidding you.
Jackie,
Great.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
guys. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me again.
guys.
Jackie, thanks so much.
Thanks,
for coming
Tommie.
again.
Yep. No
Thanks,
problem.
Tom.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
one.
You rock. That's great.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@sober.coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.